Welcome back to Chai Chat with Lavina, where we are talking about the mesmerizing, fascinating Indian elections and their results, but also from one certain country to this uncertain country where everything is in a question mark form for a very, very long time. The Conservative Party that won a majority as well actually has lost 2 prime ministers already. So my goodness me, I hope not the same for India. But tell me, how do we see these elections? We talk about India, UK so much. You're in the India-UK Council. Yeah. What are you facing?
Well, I think clearly the election is positive from a business standpoint because it offers continuity. And not only does it offer continuity, but it offers stability and clarity as to the way forward. I think that there is a desire to understand more about how the reform programme will be accelerated over the next 5 years. I think the budget that comes out in June is going to be a very interesting pointer as to the level or the speed of trajectory that this new government will have, and what are their priorities. How will they address the continuing ease of doing business? How will they address state-level corruption? How will they address other things? Corporation tax, which I'm sure is hugely important as far as Rami is concerned. So, are they going to continue the kind of reforms? And bottom line is, are we going to, which I think we will, but are we going to continue to enjoy the levels of growth, internal domestic growth in India going forward?
Yes. The Sensex rose, in fact, when Modi won, even in the UK. Even in the UK, how you...
It is very, very important, and Modi ji is perceived to be a businessman. He is a business-friendly Prime Minister. He has done a great deal. We are doing record collaboration with Israel. Yes? And we are very grateful to Israel.
This was the first tweet that came, Netanyahu, in Hindi as well as in English. Even when the trends were coming.
They are helping India to modernize their country. Farming in Gujarat, you should see, they have transformed. The deserts are blooming, like the desert blooms in Israel. They have transferred their technology. So, economy is the most important factor at which people, the businessmen, they voted overwhelmingly. They supported Modi ji. For example, I support Conservative Party. I donate money because it's the small price for me to pay insurance to keep a government which is business friendly. If I have a Labour government, Labour will hike the taxes. Don McDonnell wants people to work 4 days a week and get same price. He does not understand that we are competing with the rest of the world.
No, that's true. I just wanted to ask, a lot of actually small business, I have heard this, small businessmen and medium to small businessmen in India very dissatisfied with the GST and of course demonetization and everything. And one can safely say ki bhai chor kare chori. So if you were not giving tax and now there'll be, yes, but how do you think that is going to be taking forward and how do you see that panning out?
I would like, the government has already made certain steps in order to simplify the system, but I agree with you, there needs to be more simplicity, fewer slabs, less bureaucracy. I mean, my company, for instance, we have to file 120 tax returns. All right, and we have 3 offices in India.
Oh my God.
120 tax returns.
For 3 offices, 120 tax returns.
And on an annual basis. And whereas before, pre-GST, we filed probably 3 or 4 tax returns. So the actual amount of administration is much higher.
I think Modi ji has very cleverly handled both audiences, the internal audience and the external audience. I mean, in terms of London finance, suddenly India is on the map. And of course that's good for everyone in India, and it's increased their pride in their country, which was quite right. I think it's going to take a little time for some of the foreign investors to realise that perhaps Modi ji is not quite so keen on them as they would like.
So I just want to quickly wind up before I wind up. I want to say one thing that India needs to do and one thing that Britain needs to do to strengthen the partnership, starting with you, maybe. One thing.
Very, very important is that Britain should play a role which India accept. Playing double game with Pakistan and India will never bring any desired result to Great Britain, because during the war and this time, that time, they held back the supplies of Indian, the product they supply, and India has never forgiven Britain for that, because they want to be even-handed with Pakistan. You can't be doing that one side.
The double game with India, okay.
So that's why India has started buying French, Russian, Americans and everything. They buy very little from Britain.
Valid point.
I think that we need to revitalise the bilateral government-to-government dialogues that we have. They, in fact, the bilateral dialogues in commerce and other areas are virtually unique as between UK and India. But over the past few years, those have maybe not had as much attention, and I would hope that under the new administration and also with what is going to evolve in the UK, that is actually refreshed.
I think I see a very bright future in two relationships, because after this Brexit, if it happens, Britain will certainly have to depend more on India for many things, and India would certainly, because we have a long tradition of relationship, we have known each other so well, the way we work together. So very soon the times will come when India and Britain will be having better free trade, sort of. Well,
Free trade.
And I would endorse that. I think if we do have Brexit, and it is looking increasingly likely,
No deal Brexit.
a no-deal Brexit. I'm actually unusual in that I either want to remain or have a no-deal Brexit, because a no-deal, in my mind, gives us the freedom to negotiate with places
no deal
like
Brexit.
India. Yeah.
But it's a very peculiar situation. The Parliament has said no deal is not of the
But
table.
that's not legally binding.
So I think the UK needs to recognise much more, have a greater understanding of what India is now. I mean, I think the views are pretty old of what India is and how the economy is changing and what it needs. The drivers are, of course, education, employment. We are asking for people. We need
India provide the best workers and the best CEO. Most of the blue chip companies are run by Indian,
Yeah.
because they are product of
different
secular and
attitude.
democratic country. We don't use religion. We use merit. We use merit to surge ahead.
Chalta hai, yeah, I know. We still have to go through that chalta hai. We have to get rid of that. I understand the attitude of chalta hai. I totally. But this food is chalta hai? From Matsya? We got to the Shabash to Matsya.
I love this restaurant. I come there quite often. Very good
Yeah,
restaurant.
very good. We have to
And
thank.
the staff is very good.
Yes,
I must
fantastic.
tell everybody back home in India, the name of the restaurant is Matsya, and Matsya is a beautiful name. Matsya ka matlab hai machli.
And which you made sure you had Amritsari
Amritsar
machli.
Machli. Here it is.
Okay, and the last but not the least question: will India win the World Cup? Of course. Say
100
yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
There is nobody else to win.
All right, we started on election.
Modi effect will continue for years to come.
Are you kidding me on Indian election?
Make sure
All right, then we started with one fascinating thing, ending with another. Truly the religion of India, cricket. Yeah. Okay, everyone agrees. But so whoever wins, but definitely rooting for India.
When are we going to see Kabaddi in London?
Yes. See?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the real game for us.
It's coming.
It's coming. Okay.
Organising it.
No.
We'll have to, Modi ji, you have to get the Desi game here.
Modi ji can deal with two people at a time. It's 56 chest.
All right, thank you very, very much for very, very interesting conversation, and thank you to Matsya for beautiful food. Indian election, fascinating. World Cup will be more fascinating, actually equally fascinating. Elections are more fascinating. Okay, I decide that. How did you like this episode? You can write to me on chaichat@ashtak.com, or you can Twitter me @Lavina Tandon. Thank you, take care, and God bless.